done his MBBS from Government College Miraj, then MD Medicine from GMC Miraj, AFIH, PGDLMS, CCEBDM, CCGDM. Then he has around 5 fellowships, then numerous awards. He was involved in the organizing various state and national level conferences, and his current conference he held for MapCon 2019, which was a record hit throughout the Maharashtra. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Jitendra. Thank you, Purushottam. Thanks all the good old friends who have joined for the meeting, and it's very nice to see a number of 21 on a Sunday evening. To get 21 people is like getting a Nobel Prize. So today what I am going to do is something very simple and practical. That is, you have got all the resources, we only are not using them properly, and that resource is called as a telemedicine. I'm not going to talk anything which is rocket science. It is absolutely simple. It is absolutely easily possible, and it is just like 4-way test of protein. It is going to be useful for all, and it is going to be beneficial for all. Thank you, Jitendra, for all your good words. And previously, when I was in Rotary, 30 years back, one of my interests were computer awareness and AIDS awareness and computer promotion. And the person who wanted to introduce me, he introduced me as Dr. Kulkarni is interested in AIDS promotion and computer awareness. So that was something you got get the things mixed up. Can you meet all the other participants, the admin? Jitendra, can you meet all the people? So technology is
yes,
my
sir,
real.
I'll get it done, sir.
Yeah, it's done.
First is subject of love nowadays. What do you mean exactly by telemedicine? It is the consultation of the new normal. The word telemedicine means distance healing. It's derived from a Greek word. It provides healthcare where there is none and improves the healthcare where there is some. It is not a specific technology, but it is a way of providing healthcare services at a distance using telecommunications, medical expertise, and computer science. So one patient is on one side, the doctor is on the other side, and it is the technology which is coming in between for that person to help him. And please mind my words, technology is the future of global healthcare. It is going to be there. Those persons who are watching this program, their next generation going to be immensely benefited if they invest right now in telemedicine and telemedicine technology. I got 4 parts of my presentation. First is what we mean by e-health and telemedicine. The second is what are the advantages and benefits. The third is what are the challenges of telemedicine. And fourth is how you can do it best for your day-to-day life. And from tomorrow onwards, those who are the doctors here and those who are not practicing telemedicine should start practicing telemedicine. It is that simple. E-health and telemedicine has been really become a part of our life. But unfortunately, the healthcare sector, which is the most neglected segment of all our lifestyle, the technology utility is least. Look at automobiles, look at banks, finances, communication, digital world of entertainment along with electronics. The edge of health comes last. Why it is happening? There is an inertia on both sides. The inertia is on the doctor side, the inertia on the patient side. Thanks to the pandemic of COVID, and that changed the whole picture. E-health is as equivalent as M-health, and the World Health Organization defines e-health as a cost-effective and secure use of information and communication technologies. It is in support of health and health-related fields. Everything, not only treatment, includes healthcare services, surveillance, literature, education, knowledge, research, even the epidemiological things what are going on right now. E-health primarily reinforces our fundamental human rights by improving the equity, solidarity, quality of life, and most important is quality of care. The quality of care of health is definitely increasing after implementation of this technology. Where the distance availability is a critical factor, these are the areas where telemedicine is going to be very useful. It uses information and communication technology or ICT for the exchange of valid information for diagnosis, treatment, prevention of disease and injuries. Imagine a mass scale situation, a big disaster where every doctor cannot go to the needy to the patient there, but telemedicine can help hundreds of people who are working in that field as volunteers. Research and evaluation, continuing education of healthcare workers. In the recent pandemic of COVID, we are getting updates of the drug practically on daily basis, which is going to be useful, which is not going to be useful. And what is our aim? Aim is to advance the health of individuals and the communities and reduce the disability. What are the applications which are adopted under the term telemedicine? Definitely, it is beneficial for populations living in isolated communities, remote regions, and currently being applied to all virtual medical domains. What are these domains? Telepathology, telecardiology, where you can transmit a ECG. Suppose if you get a heart attack, within 15 to 20 minutes or half an hour, if you get a drug, which is called as a thrombolytic drug, you can completely dissolve the clot. It is as good as getting an angioplasty done. Teleradiology. N number of people are getting a HRCT thorax, high resolution CT scan of thorax. These chest radiographs are read by AI, that is artificial intelligence. I won't call it as artificial intelligence, I will call it as a augmented intelligence. And what that augmented intelligence does, it uses a technology called, it uses a technology where there is a averaging of all the figures and there is a image bank. That image bank helps to identify the various types of image abnormalities, the pathologies which you are going to see. Telesurgery, teleophthalmology, definitely on the rise. Teleophthalmology, one of the biggest advent is to take the picture of your retina, send it to the center and assess about diabetic retinopathy. So telemedicine includes practically everything. So these are the different aspects. It is a home care and ambulatory health care, remote consultation on critical care monitoring. There are tele-ICUs. Tele-ICUs is a group of doctors who are sitting in one particular place, and number of ICUs from peripheral parts are connected to them with their monitors, and they advise about what type of treatment they are supposed to give. Medical education, public awareness, what we are doing with the help of a dedicated service organization like Rotary is definitely a very novel task. We can take a second opinion. No need to go to any person's office. Just send the report, talk to the person, show him yourself on video, and you can get a second opinion almost to the accuracy of 95%. Tele-mentored procedures or robotic surgeries, I will just show you something at the end. And most important is the disaster management. In case of any disaster, there are stereotypes of injuries and there are stereotypes of diseases, and you can train a good number of people who are volunteers to manage this any situation like floods. So this internet is the main thing. You have got a physician, there is a diagnostic station, this is the patient, these are the network of the specialist, and this is the center through which you are going to. And most important, something called as an electronic health record or medical health record, electronic way in which it is kept in a very uniform way, so that a person who is working in Khopoli can show his report to somebody who is sitting in Bhatinda or even in Kolkata, and the reports will be more or less similar. Now, what are the types of telemedicine consultations. You must understand the meaning of this. RMP means registered medical practice. So first connects to patient to the RMP. Then there is something called the caregiver to the doctor. Under certain conditions, when the patient is not in a position to communicate, or if it is a child, then there can be a doctor to doctor telecommunication, because he uses the telemedicine services to discuss with other doctors the issues of care of one or more patients, or to disseminate the knowledge. Today afternoon's example, one of my patient's relative is admitted in Dhule, and then when we discussed the patient's condition, they jointly decided that this person requires a drug called the tocilizumab. It is 45,000 rupees drug. It is not available also. But just 5 minutes before I started the presentation, I got a message from that person that the wonder drug which was there, it has worked, and it is the power of sharing knowledge. It is a collective wisdom which you get it when you consult to others. It is a very negative feeling amongst our population as well as the medical fraternity, that we are not very much for second opinions. We should always go for second opinion.
Sir, please unmute yourself, sir. You can, sir, please.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, sir.
The last category is a health worker can facilitate a consultation for a patient with a doctor. In doing, the former can help take the history, examine the patient, and convey the findings. They can also explain, reinforce the advice given by RMP to the patient. So this is a term called as a physician's medical assistant, PMA. Previously, we used to call them as compounders, but in the today's context, compounder word is, has got some different meaning. But if you have got somebody called as a physician assistant, and in Rotary also, what we can do is, there are a lot of young boys and girls in small villages, they are unemployed. You can give them first aid education, you can give them some idea about how to monitor the patient, and they will perfectly act like a health worker when there are such a huge number of patients of COVID increasing in our society. So these are the several elements to be considered in telemedicine consultation. Number one is context. Second is identification of the doctor as well as patient. What we ask them to send a Aadhaar card. You have to confirm mode of communication. I tell my patient, initially you send me your 1 minute video. I'm going to call you on audio, and then we are going to have 1 or 2 minutes video call. What do you mean by consent? If the patient calls a doctor, that means he has shown an interest in the doctor, and that is called as an implied consent. But if I call somebody and try to give a medical advice, then I have to tell him that I am Dr. So and so, I would like to examine you for your COVID issue, and are you okay with my treatment? And then the person has to say that yes, I consent for examination. Preferably we record this part of our conversation. Then type of consultation, whether it is a first consultation or whether it's a follow-up consultation. There may be one patient, I must have seen him from diabetes, but the next time he comes with a skin problem, then it becomes a fresh consultation. Then we evaluate the patient. There is some system called as a SOAP, subjective, objective, assessment, plan, prognosis, and prevention. Subjective means what the patient has got. Objective means what I see. Assessment is what is my thinking, what differential diagnosis or provisional diagnosis I have come across. Plan is plan of treatment. And last is prevention. All corona patients are prone for pneumonias and they die of pneumonias. So it is my duty, it is a national duty to tell the patient that you need a vaccine called as an influenza vaccine as well as pneumonia vaccine. And lastly, you have to take with you the patient or the patient's relatives or the caregivers or even the organization. In managed healthcare system, for example, RCF or BSNL, there is some patient who is admitted in Apollo. I have to talk to the concerned person that the management of this patient has to be done with the help of 3 different people. So these are the 7 elements to be considered for telemedicine consultation. This is actually very easy. It goes within almost one and a half minute, 100 maximum 100 seconds. So let us know actually what happens during a telemedicine program. There is nothing like nobody comes out of a television screen and takes your temperature or your touches, sees your tongue or your hands and checks your heartbeats. These are the various telemedicine tools. We would not have imagined this kind of meetings 7 months back. These are very primitive type of equipments, but this is a very high quality camera. This has got a very good visual video display. It is carried by this antenna, and then we can get at different places where you want to get the discussion. Suppose if you have got a fracture in hand, you take the X-ray. He's the patient, he's the doctor is trying to explain him that this is a fracture and you need some proper treatment for this. This is what you see in very advanced countries. This is a high resolution image camera. He is a doctor who is speaking from his office. It is either the healthcare worker or the mother who is looking at the child. You can see the doctor's image in that screen also. Like what you see in routine video calls, you can enlarge the image, you can see the part of the body which is in doubt. Or there can be something like this. This is a healthcare worker, and here instead of the doctor, this is called as a cow. Cow is computer on wheels. Here, through this camera, this person is seeing this patient, and this lady, the physician assistant, is relaying the information about the patient's health care. Or it can be something like this. This is a group of students or the interns who are watching a very complex surgery, and the other person from the team is trying to explain them the complex process of it. So according to the mode of communication, it can be a video call, telemedicine facility with the help of apps, or a video or chat platform, Skype, FaceTime, WhatsApp. Audio, either phone or through the apps. The third is text-based. You can send either as a message or the file in a PDF format, general messaging, chat formats, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, and asynchronous is like sending an email or fax the data or information in advance. So these are the two types of telemedicine, which is called as the real-time or synchronous telemedicine consultation, and the second type is called as the asynchronous consultation, in which you use a principle of store and forward. What is the difference between these two? The real-time and synchronous and asynchronous. In real time, simple as a telephone call or as complex as a robotic surgery, but it requires the presence of both parties at the same time. Here you don't require presence of both parties at the same time. There are also peripheral devices which can be attached to the computers or to the video conferencing equipment that can be aid in interactive examination. I am going to show you the list and the pictures of the equipments. Something called the teleotoscope, a stethoscope for consulting remote physician, hear the patient's heartbeat. In the asynchronous, what you do, first of all, you don't require the presence. Then the medical data like images, biosignals transmitted to the doctor and at the time of assessment. It is very useful in dermatology, radiology, and pathology. A properly structured medical record, preferably in electronic form, should be a component of this transfer. Teleradiology is a system in which sending the X-ray, CT scans, and MRIs, these are by the store and forward technique, but there is something called as a machine learning. That machine learning has revolutionized the concept of teleradiology. They give you report within few seconds, and they can analyze thousands of MRI reports in a day. So the turnover time of the teleradiology has tremendously improved. It is not like that you get a CT scan at 10 o'clock and you will get the report at 4 o'clock. You get a CT scan at 10 o'clock, you get a report at 10:10, and both by PDF to the consultant and in the print form to the patient. So what is available today? In the mHealth platform, you have got, this is a simple thing, pulse oximeter, Then there is a mini cardiac monitor. It detects the arrhythmia like atrial fibrillation, irregular heartbeat. This is AliveCor. This is the first application which was sanctioned in USA, that it transmits the ECG directly. And this is another which is connected to a watch, where you can get the oxygen concentration, pulse rate, and something called as a waveform also. Those who are medical professionals here, they can understand there is a definite meaning of pulse wave morphology, and there is a concept called as a perfusion index. Perfusion index, if it is good, that means the patient's circulation is good. Thermometers, everybody has seen. What is most important with this infrared thermometer is the distance from which you have to take the thermometer from the temperature. Then these are the pulse oximeters. So here you are getting the oxygen concentration. This is the pulse rate, and what you see here inside is the perfusion index. There are various types of pulse oximeters. There are pulse oximeters which talk. They tell you that oxygen concentration is so and so and pulse is so and so. These are the smart weighing scales, body composition analyzers, and they share the data in a wireless way. The person stands on this, you get it on the EHR, or the patient gets blood pressure evaluated. The patient can have some. This is something called as a blood pressure without the tube. And I'm not telling you something out of a science fiction. What you see there, the Omron model, is right now there in my hand. This we are using. This is the BP apparatus which doesn't have any cuff. This is a tubeless BP apparatus. Sorry, and you can put it on. It works as a even 24-hour blood pressure monitor, and it is a very good tool for everybody of us to manage something called as a remote science monitoring, especially in the older people. This is a made in India, make in India stethoscope, where you need not go be there near the patient. Just detach this thing and put it on the chest of the patient, and you will get the cardiac sounds and the murmurs. So, and this can be analyzed later on. It can be stored in your electronic health record. If you have got some ear problem, throat problem, nose problem, then this is a very small way. Here you just put it and you get it on a smartphone called as a wireless otoscope. This is a 24-hour ambulatory blood pressure system. Depending upon the age of the person, you can select the curve and you can easily record the 24 hours blood pressure of the patient, just to see what are the fluctuations and what is the correct timing of the medications. In blood pressure, we have got two type of people who have got, they are called as dippers. Either they are morning dippers or evening dippers. So we need to change the timing of our medications according to what is their dipping time. So this is from a Israeli technology. It is a cuffless, simple to use portable blood pressure apparatus along with SpO2 and pulse. The Israeli companies are very, very smart, and they are coming out lot of newer invention. This is as far as the cardiac things are concerned. This is for the continuous blood sugar monitor. There are people who are followed up in Israel with the help of this type of equipment, so that their contact with outside people is reduced to minimum. This is a smartwatch. It can attach to a glucometer. It is the basic data which is incorporated. It acts as a false detector. It is location tracker. Old age people above the age of 80, 85, they suffer from a disease called as Alzheimer's disease. They are totally dementing. They don't know where they are. So with this help of this smartwatch, you can locate them on Google Map. There is a SOS button in case of emergency, and you can store something, a basic electronic health record, as a screensaver. It can save a life. You can give the allergies. You can tell about diabetic status. So this is just to summarize what all things are there with us: otoscope, BP monitors, weighing scales, and stethoscope. There are many few newer things which are coming. One is called as the robotics. Robotics very useful in the senior citizens care homes. Then robotic surgery and live monitoring of all the functions with the help of cell phone. You can see the way in which the ECG is being monitored for a high risk patient. This is a simple doctor replacing unit. It is called as it's a kiosk called as health spot. You go into that, you have got all the equipments which are to be attached. You are in front of a doctor. You can communicate with him with whatever is their probable diagnosis. He come out with a prescription printed when you come out of this. So this is the need of our country also. And very soon we'll be getting such types of health kiosks in India also. Now that this I just explained about what is e-health, telemedicine, what are the different kind of equipments. Now let us see what are the advantages and benefits. Especially in the COVID era, where we are not supposed to go out, where we are really scared about getting contact from somebody else. At least as doctors, we consider that anybody who comes in contact with us is suffering from COVID. So this is a it delivers timely healthcare and minimizes exposure to protect physicians, healthcare workers, and patients. So there are least transmission chances. It avoids overcrowding in the healthcare capacity. You must have seen the busy OPDs of government hospitals. Maximizes the efficiency of healthcare delivery and very low absenteeism in industries or workplace. Otherwise, everybody will take a sick leave and will not go for work. What it aims at? It aims at equity, solidarity, quality of life, quality of care, and almost improved global healthcare in a very uniform scale. It can cut down costs for patients that pay out of their pocket. In India, hardly 4% people are insured. 96% they pay out of their own pocket. And medical emergencies or medical problems is one of the biggest cause of acquired poverty in the country. In rural places, they sell their homes, they sell their farm to become all right. And this is the real pathetic situation. It saves your time, cuts down travel. Even if you can deliver the things by ambulance or by a drone, and with this humanizing like COVID experience, allows the patient to talk to family in video conference. Recently, few of my doctor friends were suffering from COVID. They are admitted in so many other hospitals. The only solace for them was this smartphone. And with the smartphone and with the communication method of WhatsApp and Google Chat, they were in a position to talk to their friends and relatives. Of the 5 steps of clinical evaluation, half of them are possible with the help of telemedicine. What is the most important part? History is the most important. It leads to the diagnosis. And there's something called as a ODP, onset, duration, progress. If you talk me about headache, and if you tell me all these 3 things clearly, I can diagnose your headache with 99% accuracy. What do you mean inspection? Inspection is visualization in good light. It can be done. Palpation is not possible, but passive palpation is possible, and that is called as a virtual clinical examination. And we can give few clues to the assisted virtual clinical examination. When I am doing a virtual clinical examination, I tell the patient, I want to see your throat. Then check here. Do you have any glands? Do your throat pains? Do you have any pain in the ear? Whether your sinuses after pressure, they are having any pain. So my 50% diagnosis and examination is over in this just upper part of it. If somebody has got thyroid, I just ask him to look up and see his thyroid. If somebody is obese, his history of diabetes, hypertension in the family, all the children are sitting in home, doing schools online, and they are eating quite a huge amount of junk food, and they develop something like this black lines called as acanthosis nigricans. You can immediately tell the head of the family that he has to take care of the child because he is likely to develop diabetes if he doesn't matter himself. There are few clues with assisted virtual clinical examination, and there can be augmented auscultation with the help of electronic stethoscope. You can go to 2.5, 50% steps of your evaluation. But the problem comes in emergency. What do you mean emergency? Our goal and objective should be to provide in-person care to the soonest possible. However, critical steps should be life-saving, and guidance and counseling would be critical. For example, somebody has got a fall on bike. how to handle the neck is most important. Otherwise, while handling the neck, if the neck is not properly handled, he may break his cervical spine and land up him in paralysis. What to do in case of burns? You have to pour water. Not only you have to pour water, you have to pour water again and again till the temperature of the skin or body comes down. You can advise first aid, you can do counseling, you can do pacification of the person that he is going to be all right, because what happens in snake bite? Snake bite, 90% of snakes are non-poisonous, but the person is very much afraid of it. Your one word of assurance is going to help you, and it facilitates referral. In all cases of emergency, the patient must be advised for an in-person interaction with a registered medical practitioner or any hospital facility at the earliest. Telemedicine is not an alternative. You cannot do a surgery with telemedicine. You cannot do a delivery with telemedicine. You cannot do a bandaging with telemedicine. You can ask them, you can tell them that you give pressure at this particular spot, the bleeding will stop. So you must know what are the limitations of treatment. Now there are various drugs which are allowed in telemedicine. I will not go into the detail. All these sites I am going to tell you, and the references I am going to give you at the end of my presentation. These are the prescription allowed drugs, and there are a lot of refills, but unfortunately injectables are not allowed. And there is a conflict going on right now within the telemedicine society and the pharmaceutical pharmacology group, the committee which has done the classification of Schedule H, H1 and Schedule X drugs. What you cannot do is you cannot prescribe narcotics, and you cannot prescribe psychiatry drugs except few exceptional molecules which have been added by Government of India in the guidelines in the last month. So prescription allowed has got some limitations in the first consultation, but in the next consultation you can do it. And all what you can, what is the most important, this last line is very important, is as felt appropriate by the registered medical practitioner. What if I feel that my patient needs antibiotic like azithromycin, I can give it. If they say that he is allergic to azithromycin, I can change the antibiotic. So it is the discretion of the healthcare provider what the person in front of him needs. This is one of the worst part. You must have heard a lot of jokes on the handwritings of doctors, but there is something, one more problem is like spell alike, sound alike and look alike drugs. For that you have to have a very decent prescription like this, in which all the things are written in capital and all the drugs are written in a generic format. Or you can have a decent digital prescription which will avoid many errors. So here is exactly, this is the date of prescription, that is the drug, that is the quantity, how to be given, and if the person has got allergies, the allergies are written here, so that if you put any tetracycline in this list, it will show you the red color, and it will tell you that this person is likely to suffer from allergies to this, so that you should not give this particular medicine. And at the same time, it gives you what is the list of other drugs, like suppose the person is on aspirin. If the person is on aspirin, and if the person is asthmatic, it is likely to get his asthma worsen. So you will get some clue also for that. So the last but one part is what are the challenges of telemedicine. You have seen all the good part of it, the challenges and what are the limitations. We have got problem of technological infrastructure and skill. There is a poor coverage certain area of the territory. There is a diverse information system available, large number of internal tailor-made applications, not providing the possibility of interconnection. This is the biggest issue. And with the help of NITI Aayog and an organization called as DISBIRD and Telemedicine Society of India, we are trying to come out with something which is a nationwide, pan-nation, one similar type of electronic health record. And our organization, Associations of Physicians of India and Indian College of Physicians, we are very much associated with NITI Aayog to give this type of solution. we have to have complex, we have to minimize the complex use of the solutions. We have to make it very simple, streamlined. There is a problem related to data security, confidentiality, and protection. Means, suppose if I got 500 patients of diabetes, I must not give that data to a diabetes manufacturing company or to a glucometer manufacturing company, because they will use it for their marketing purpose. But so what are the human factors? People say that there is no emotional bond. हमको डॉक्टर ने देखा ही नहीं, and there is no uniformity. The workload required to implement this type of program in the existing setting is a big problem, and we have to have a good training for this. You can see this cartoon. This person is walking with a square wheel. Another gentleman is asking a square method of transporting the cart. He's offering him a wheel, but he's saying, no, I am not comfortable with whatever I am doing. So that is the mentality of many of our Indian people. So we have to be very careful when you introduce a newer type of technology in our country. So these are the human factors. 55% people are uncomfortable. They feel that हमको देखा ही नहीं. They trust the doctor more in person. They will, very few people will choose a virtual appointment. But if you tell them that it is the norm in COVID era, almost they turn out to 80%, and 64 to 5% of people will get some gadget from home and they will consult you. So the human factor also is eliminated, and there is a gradually acceptance of this. There are a lot of economic, environmental, and individual challenges. Loss of human touch. हमको हाथ भी नहीं लगाया. And the computer which is there in front, whether it is a competitor or a companion, it is really very good thing to help you, but patients consider this as their competitor. Implementation cost, initial funding, not included in the portfolio of administration, especially in the government and semi-government systems. It lacks the well-defined and explicit economic framework. You have to sanction and raise a quotation. Till today, there is not a very significant amount of scientific evidence regarding clinical and economic benefits. But in COVID era, you don't have any other alternative, but telemedicine is going to remain. Last is the best practices. What is suitable to your land? What is suitable for your people? These are some practical examples. In that, you can just form your questions when I am telling you all these alternatives which are available in around us, so that we can discuss it in the question answer session. You have to follow the principles of medical ethics, protect patient privacy and confidentiality, confirm the identity of both. I have to tell that I am Dr. So and so, my degree is MD, and I am working for last 37 years. Confirm the reason of remote consultation to approximate for the clinical setting. You have to undertake the assessment of patient symptoms and virtual signs if possible. You have to summarize the consultation. Make sure that the patient has understood the management plan. You have to make appropriate follow-up arrangement, if not possible from your side, some physician assistant, and you have to both principles as well as the data protection facility, including images and recordings. Images, especially of private part, female patients, you have to block the eyes with black, and you have to keep as a in your file. And if the person doesn't want his images to be stored digitally, you have to delete it. That is most important, and that can cause a lot of problems later on. There is a way in which you can keep the recordings of your consultation that will help you in case of any medical legal problems. There are other concerns: satisfaction of the patient, reimbursement, certain insurance company don't pay for it, lack of integration, service awareness is not there, patients lack of technical skills. What I always do is, if there are any senior patients, I take help of the juniors in the family. All the grandparents are helped by grandchildren for having a effective telemedicine consultation. Privacy concern, it's very over privacy promising, but it is under delivering. and there is a widening of digital divide, especially when you have got the costly phones and the rate of the telecommunication company. What you can do in your setup, your practice as a service organization, when you have got the redundant phones in your family, don't exchange it for 500,000 rupees. Give it to your staff, give it to somebody who is a student and who can do his education or communication in a proper way. If possible, help them by getting their basic data packs for their education. There are some unintended and pursued consequences. Lack of continuity of care, the records may not be kept properly and in one format. Fear about decreased quality and mistakes, reduced stigma, and improved access to mental health care for the patients suffering from psychiatric disorders. This is something really very important because patients who suffer don't want to go to the psychiatrist very frequently. Office visits may go up in case of physical examinations required. For example, somebody is undergoing a surgery and he wants a fitness, so he has to be seen. There's good amount of saving of ambulance time and they are available for emergency cases. But when there is an area which is vast and less populated, the need for technical equipment and training is more. For example, some area like Ladakh, or in the US, somewhere like Alaska, where the costs are skyrocketing because the population density is very thin. What the doctor should do or what the patient should do, there has to have a proper lighting, there has to be a proper network, clothing should be allow visibility, quiet place to speak, no background noises. Then you have to dress in a professional way, you have to make eye-to-eye contact, you have to take your time in a proper way, and you have to speak in a very slow way. Suppose if you start talking too fast, the person in front of you may not be in a position to understand and it may be interpreted in a very different way. So talking slowly, firmly, and you have to confirm that you have understood what I am talking. That is most important, because there are certain people who have got a delayed latency to understand certain medical instructions. We know in our practice, but it is not possible every time when you are coming out for a person who is coming to you for the first time. So this is the square of remote health services. You can do a drug use review of patient's medication history, health education, and health therapy management. We can reduce the number of medicines of the patient. He will be more than happy for reduced number of tablets, called as a pill burden. The purpose of telehealth is to provide clinical support. It overcomes geographical barriers, connecting users who are not in the same physical location, use of various types of communication technologies. Its goal to improve the health outcomes of the patient, giving reassurance, giving primary care to the people who are suffering from minor ailments, and identifying one which are going to get more dangerous. That just the few concluding slides. Patients and physicians need a good network support and know how to use the platform. There has to be informed consent. You have to check what is the law of your land. You have to see that you are not violating the privacy risk. Consultation should be private, confidential, and it should have agreed management and follow plan so that your patient is completely all right, and even the subsequent complications, the problems are prevented. Make it nicer way, keep it very simple. You have to have downloadable PDF guides for the patient, then speak clearly, slowly, and see that the person has understood what you are speaking. COVID-19 pandemic has altered how medical practitioners provide care to the patients. You have to understand the need to continue providing diagnosis, treatment, monitoring, and follow-ups. Digital tools and technology is there to provide virtual care, either on telephone or video consultations. Please convert the law of obsolescence into an opportunity to help and increase the theory of utility by donating your older phones to the needy people. And friends, I'm at the very fag end of this presentation. Your views, you are either doctors who are practicing, or you are the patients or caregivers who are suffering. So your views will be very much appreciated at the end. This is not a very bad rocket science. Tata, you must have gone many times. Tata is a hospital which is overcrowded. And this Tata Memorial Hospital Disha Navigation mobile app has reduced the consultation frequency by 30%, inquiry frequency. Not only that, we talked about digital pathology. This is not from either US or UK or Europe. This is from Kolhapur. You can have something called as a digital pathology. This microscope has been replaced. You put the slide here, and 8 micron size RBC will occupy your full 52 inches screen. This is a concept called as a digital pathology, and it helps patients to diagnose the conditions very faster. So the new normal, or called as, should be a better normal of safe medical practice, is telemedicine. Please use telemedicine. Please use video consultation. So stay safe, stay home, avoid exposure, use telehealth. Simple tips for making an effective video consultation: SMS or call the doctor 10 minutes before starting the video. Don't start video all of a sudden. For the problem which you want to consult, be clear. Don't tell too many problems. Send your previous prescription photographs, which should be very clear, properly oriented, vertically, with all the margins trimmed and in the clear picture. Tell about your problem which you are facing in order of severity, which is bothering you most and new one. Do mention your other diseases like high BP, diabetes, arthritis, asthma, and anything for which you are taking treatment. And do you have pets in the house or any family history of similar complaint? That will help the doctor to assess something different. People are worried only about corona, but there are many other problems which are noticed, unnoticed, or ignored. Please use a earphone so that your mobile remains free to show any part of your body like throat, eye, neck, or any skin lesion. Experienced senior doctor can diagnose almost 85 to 95% of the conditions which are problematic in today's age by video. It is better to avoid travel, exposure to coronavirus, waiting in the clinic or hospital amongst other patients. Telemedicine is the right answer. You must have your doctor's numbers with you so that you can communicate with them. There are a lot of patient-friendly features with telehealth. You get the prescription by WhatsApp, printed one. Copy can be sent directly to chemist. He will deliver at your doorstep. Can be sent to lab for investigations with a proper history. Radiologist in the same way. You have to be just in time for the site. All the age vaccination, including adults, pneumonia and influenza, they have to be done. You can even think of typhoid vaccination and MMR. So typhoid is very useful in this rainy season. Those people who eat outside, they are likely to suffer from enteric fever or typhoid. There are few more features with basic health parameter evaluation by your experienced medical assistants, like take temperature, pulse, respiration, BP, oxygen concentration, weight, body mass index, body fat analysis, ECG with the facility of second opinion to a person of your choice, blood sugar, hemoglobin, HbA1c, test of, these are part of the tests at point of care, POCT. Sodium, potassium, creatinine also can be done. You can do something called as a continuous glucose monitoring system, and a 24-hour ambulatory BP measurement and management is available. You can do lab connections also. So telemedicine is going to help virtually in almost 80 to 85% of your things. So what is the future? Telemedicine resources are used together, which are derived from, these are the new things: virtual reality, robotics, and artificial intelligence or augmented intelligence. It has got a more than human capabilities to support and monitor surgical procedure, or even to perform remote surgery. And this is one of the perfect example. This is called as a robotic surgery. Patient is here, the doctor, the surgeon operating is here. This doctor has got only 2 hands. Robo has got 4 hands. His wrist can move only in particular limitations. This wrist can move to 360 degrees. So this is a very simple way. It looks like a video game, but it is a life-saving video game. And the days are not far when all the complicated surgeries will be done with a nanomillimeter precision with the help of this kind of robots which are going to be there. It is not something like a very rocket science. Many hospitals in Navi Mumbai are having robotic surgery. So these are few of my references which I am going to share this presentation with all of you. And there are a lot of FAQs which are there in the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare guidelines. Thank you for all your time, your invitation, and listening to me for the quest of telemedicine. Thank you very much. I will take the questions, and in the meantime, I need a short break.
Apratim,
Where
sir.
I'm just going to off my video.
Ekdam
I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to off my video. Just drink water, and there you're welcome for your further project.
Yes, sir.
Jitendra,
Take
बोल.
5 minutes break. अप्रतिम प्रेझेंटेशन होतं सर.
Thank you.
आणि एवढं डिटेलमध्ये बिकॉज ऑल द मेंबर्स वे आर नॉट अवेअर ऑफ व्हॉट टेलिमेडिसिन इज. सो इट वॉज अन एक्सलंट प्रेझेंटेशन अँड now all the members know why you are the speaker, the one and only and the best in the our nation. We'll take 5 minutes break. Till that time,
No, not necessary. I am there now. No, don't take any break. It's
Okay,
a dinner
sir.
time.
Yes, sir.
Dinner time. Ha.
Don't take a break. We can continue. People can ask
Yes,
questions.
there are a lot of questions. Huh? I'll just start for the beginning. People are asking for many type of apps which are there. I suggest for all of you to have download one app called as 1 milligram, and that gives a very good idea about the drugs and whatever the resources which are having. And Dr. Madan has asked, in UK there is a condition one should attend so many hours of webinar. Is it applicable to Indians? Yes, nowadays we are doing lot of CMEs on webinars for medical professionals, and just today afternoon only I had a webinar of 3 hours, and that gave me 2 MMC points. It is we are improving on our side. Only problem with what we are facing is we don't keep proper medical records. And our Indian patients' mentality is also like that. They will call you when you are leaving out of your hospital and you are about to enter your car, and they will ask you for a prescription of some element which may be really dangerous also. There may be some 70 years old grandmother and she is having headache, and he is asking for headache medicine. You give something. The lady turns out to have a very high blood pressure, 130, cerebral hemorrhage, and dies out of it. It is said that a prescription, the return on bonnet, it ends with the coffin. So we have to increase our awareness also. Can you mute the other people, those who want to?
Yeah, they've been muted.
Noise.
Yeah,
They've been
yeah.
muted.
And as Jitendra has said, opens up opportunities for second opinion from experts globally and well internationally. This is very much true for certain conditions like certain malignancies. There are a lot of malignancies, cancers, which are absolutely totally treatable. One tablet for 3 months and the cancer is totally gone. But it is called as a personalized medicine. It is a personalized medicine, and you have to do a lot of tests, and there is something called as the bioinformatics, in which your genomic sequence is analyzed and it tells you which drug you are going to be going to suit most. And again, Madan has written a very nice comment that the biggest advantage is doctors now have to listen to details, patient complaints and reaction to use the medicines. Biggest question is meeting in person. It is not different to understand patient condition, but more often it's a facial expression which is expresses a lot. Yes, I agree with whatever Madan you are saying, that the person to person, face to face consultations have got advantages, but now nobody can say that, you know, if I go out and if I see 10 patients, which patient has given me corona? And you must be very aware that in the previous few months, if the general mortality of the general population is about 1.5%, doctors are dying almost by 10% or 15%. So we are at a very high risk, and that is definitely going to help us in reducing that risk. And this is a perfect observation. Psychiatrists, many of them, they see patients virtually only, but it will, Jitendra, you are very rightly pointed out, it is a nascent stage in India, but it will accelerate in futures our access to use understanding, opens up opportunities for second opinions. And those who want all this presentation and any other informations, you can definitely give contact Jitendra. I will put my email ID at the end so that you can send me an email ID. There are a lot of apps, or I'm just showing you something. There are a lot of apps which are useful nowadays for monitoring patients. So you can just something like a pulse oximeter. This is the pulse oximeter. Pulse oximeter and BP apparatus. These are the two things which you should have whenever you are managing any patient with COVID follow-up. This is a very nice one, and there are BP apparatuses like this, which takes the blood pressure 3 times and gives an average. So that is very nice to avoid the bias of related called as a white coat hypertension. And there are methods in which you can treat and do a 24-hour BP monitoring also. So if Jitendra, if there are no more questions from other side, and if you want, I can stop here, and I will just put my email ID here.
I'll just request them. Yes, sir. I request all the participants, if they have any questions, please ask.
Yeah, sir, this is Purushottam
You
here.
can raise your hand and ask the questions.
I have one question. Out of these instruments that you have discussed in the presentation, those are very exciting machines to have. Is it good to have at home, or it should be only considered at the hospital?
So first of all, they are not very expensive. A good BP apparatus will cost around 2,500 to 3,000 rupees. A digital thermometer around 100 to 200 rupees. Please remember that you imagine any birthday party or any wedding anniversary party where you go for a hotel, you will easily spend 3,000 to 4,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees. But why not to utilize that money for our healthcare? And it is useful in emergency. Suppose if you have got a diabetic person in your family and he is suffering from sweating and lots of vomiting, restless, just check his blood sugar. If it is low, give him more glucose. He will be all right within 5 minutes. And if he's having very high sugar, then you can just ask him to go to the doctor, because that time he will require insulin. These are basic medical equipment of everybody of us should have here. And that should be part of our day-to-day practice.
So are these instruments are made in India? Because recently for an oximeter, we have received one observation where most of these are made in China, and people said that I don't want that because the sentiments were high.
This is all WhatsApp University and Wikipedia graduate people are there really bothering us a lot. The importance is whether it measures your oxygen capacity correctly or not. I mean, almost all the instruments are made in India or made in China. Even people have got a doubt of duality about this Zoom also. Zoom people say that it is a US application, but it may be Chinese. The instruments, you have to see what is the validity of it. When you go to the site, whether it is really been corrected, what are the reviews. and preferably take an instrument from a dealer who is going to give you after sales service. That is most important. These Omron BP apparatuses are quite good. The slowly the mercury BP apparatuses are out of circulation. Then nobody is going to take those BP apparatuses.
Hello.
Vivek, बोल ना.
As
Vivek
usual,
Patel
fantastic
is
presentation. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So how can I do my this telemedicine in Kuda?
Yes.
Because it is not easy here.
No. There are a lot of platforms, right? So there is very good platform called as a Connect to Clinic, C2C.
Okay.
Or there is a doc on. There is always a learning curve. There is always a learning curve for some time. And once you start doing it, then it is very easy. The patients are very happy to see the doctor's prescription on a WhatsApp message. Very easy. I will help you do that. No problem.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Start using it.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, fantastic presentation as usual.
Thank you.
No question.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Yeah.
Sir,
Sir, I
one
have
question
one
from me,
question.
sir. Yeah.
हाँ बोला ना.
I think Galaxy J4, he wanted to speak something. The name is not visible.
All right. Ashishji, I may want to ask one question
Yeah.
to the
Please.
doctor. Sirji, thank you for the wonderful, session. And we really did not know that there are so many of these equipments or the instruments available in the market, basically to test many things. See, I knew BP, I know sugar, I knew the oximeter, but there were various that you showcased. Thank you very much. And I just wanted to ask you, people fearful, people like. Hello?
Yeah, you continue. Please continue.
Yeah, I wanted to ask some people, fearful people like me, definitely do not go often outside unless and until it's really critical. Suppose in case a person suspects he or she has, feeling kind of corona or something, it may not be, having a symptoms or something. So how do we do self-test for corona?
Only there is no self-test for corona. Only self-test is if you have to check whether you got high degree fever. The second point is, are you feeling very weak, extremely weak? Do you have cough? Do you have breathlessness? Do you have chest pain? Or do you have vomiting and diarrhea? And if you are lost your taste and smell sensation. So if you have done this, you have to go to the nearest medical center. There are two types of tests are available. One type is called as the antigen test. Another called as RT-PCR, where they put the stick into the nose and it is a bit painful. People don't like or accept it. And that report comes within, say, 12 to 24 hours. Of all the corona patients, 98.5% totally recover. But we really don't know which group you belong. I know overconfident doctors roaming around without masks and personal protective equipments, and they have landed up in hospitals for 15-20 days, shelling out 10 to 15 lakhs of the medical bills. So corona doesn't identify by your name or where do you stay or whatever it may be. It is everybody is susceptible to it.
Correct. Sir, I have just heard, from quite of my friends and relatives, people feel that, okay, some people who are asymptomatic, at the later stage when symptoms, not exactly early symptoms, the late symptoms like, breathlessness, that is a very difficult time for a person to be saved. I have seen like 2 or 3 cases, not personally, but known it from the over the phone of my relative or my friends, some unknown. Do you want to say some extra precaution there?
Okay, I can just tell you only one extra precaution. Of these 5 things which I told you, if you are not in a position to tolerate fever, breathlessness, go to the nearest hospital. Do a CT scan of your chest. If you have got diseases like diabetes, hypertension, thyroid, anemia, liver, kidney diseases, you are more susceptible for that. And it is said in a very joking way that there are only two types of people in the world.
Yes,
One
sir.
group considers that corona is nothing and they cannot affect corona, and the other group consider that corona is there and it is going to affect them. And दोनों सब ऐसा एक दूसरे को एड़ा समझते हैं. They consider both the groups are idiots. So there is no balance into this. You have to have a very balanced approach for your any health condition, and you have to have a good family doctor, a good
Yes,
family physician with a good experience who can even tell you from your voice tone also that you are not well. So this is what is lacking nowadays. What people are doing, headache hai to neurologist के पास जाओ, joint में pain है तो orthopedic के पास जाओ, छाती में दर्द हुआ तो cardiologist के पास जाओ. Don't do like that.
Yeah.
You trust your family physician. At least you should have one doctor. And nowadays there are definitely good doctors in and around us. Every family has got one medical professional, so trust that person.
Okay.
And don't do any self-treatment. Don't do any treatment from WhatsApp University, from Wikipedia, from Google. Google Baba is not going to save you from corona.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree with you.
Google Baba is very dangerous.
Thank you so much, Kani sir.
Yeah.
One question,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Yeah, one
I
question, sir.
appreciate. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes,
Kulkarni sir, one question.
Uh,
So actually, we are planning to have a project like telemedicine OPD with the participation of NGO and Rotary. So how that can be worked out with the help of registered medical practitioners available locally?
the biggest problem is who is going to be available, what is the qualification, what is the experience.
Yes, yes.
That
So if we
person has to be
see to
there.
it, yeah. Okay, sir.
Other people start throwing all sorts of questions and all sorts of problems on you, and then you have to consider the medical legal liability also.
Yes, sir.
If the person doesn't disclose that he's got a history of a diclofenac allergy, and
Yes, sir.
give him something like any combination contains diclofenac and he lands up with angioneuritic edema and dies somewhere, they will blame
sir.
the telemedicine facility for that.
True.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
What I will suggest for all of you, at least in one building or in one floor, Kharghar, we are all multi-storied people, that you should know your neighbor and what medical conditions they are suffering from. Unfortunately, I've seen so many conditions in which people have suffered and they don't know that the next door person is having either a glucometer or a BP apparatus or a thermometer or a pulse oximeter. These conditions can help you. So you have to be more open, at least electronically, and try to get your resources together.
I'll request other participants to please use the email ID which sir has shared for the further questions, because we are running out of time. Another meeting is in progress. I'll request Mangla ji, who is our president-elect of Rotary Club of Satellite City, to give the vote of thanks. Mangla ji.
Yeah, thank you, Purushottam ji. I hope I am audible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Good evening, all. We got a wonderful session, sir. We got a real insight of what is telemedicine, and it has got a wide application, and many number will be benefited of this. Of course, the need for the time, what it says, especially in this pandemic time when there is a social distancing and traveling is a headache for any patient to go to the doctor or to any hospital. It was a very descriptive PowerPoint presentation. I think even a lay person could understand what it is. And of course, you also added the limitations of telemedicine, which got a good awareness for us. And the highlight was how we can reuse our handsets, which are of no use to us, but might be useful for others and save somebody's life. Great privilege to express vote of thanks on behalf of Rotary Club of Satellite City to our eminent speaker, Dr. S.V. Kulkarni sir, and also all the dignitaries from other medical fields and the Rotary district. A special thanks to Dr. Khange ji, who arranged such wonderful session for all of us. and gave us insight for this. And without the support of our President, Purushottam ji, it won't have been possible. And a big thank you to all the Rotarians who were a part of this session. I'm sure they must have enjoyed it. And yes, a happy dinner time on Sunday evening. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate all your enthusiasm and the way in which you conducted the whole
Mangala
session.
Ghorpade is
Thank you,
also from the
Jitendra.
medical
Thank you.
field, sir.
Yes.
Kulkarni, Mangala Ghorpade is also from the medical field. She is a nuclear
Sir,
medicine.
yeah, sir. I'm the nuclear physicist with Jupiter Hospital, Thane at present. Earlier, I was with
Oh.
KM Hospital. So we do a lot
Great,
of
great.
PET scans and we
Hmm.
have so much of rush of patients nowadays.
Yeah, lot of things.
And that is where we use, then when the patient has done earlier scan at Tata Hospital, if we have the password, we can go through the scan, early scan, just to compare it, what is the present
That is
state.
the biggest
So
advantage.
yes, we do use this telemedicine.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
I
And
was
also, as
very
you said,
I was
Yes,
very
sir.
closely associated with Dr. R.D. Lele.
oh yeah,
Uh,
yes, father of nuclear medicine. That's what
Yeah.
we say.
and Vikram
Yes,
is
sir.
my good friend. And
Okay.
in fact, I have compiled his autobiography. If you send me or text me a mail, I will send you the
Okay, sir.
PDF copy of that.
Oh.
Sure.
Amazing.
We all have great respect for Lady family, as you said.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So
Thank you.
much.
Bye. See you.
For all of us.
Rohit.
Yeah.
Jitendra, thank you.
Yes, sir.
can,
Thank you very much, sir.
You can share my presentation with anybody, no problem. I'm going to just mail it to you. Thanks.
Okay, sir.
Bye.
Thank you very much, sir. Excellent presentation. Thanks.
Poonam ji.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Good night, sir.
Good night.